Welcome to today's collective channeled reading and teaching. This is Trinity Gaia Consciousness. I'm going to open with some sound resonance here, just to set that intention for this time to be set apart, calling in close your spirit team, source, divine, the universe, for those synchronicities, validation, and affirmation. Whether they resonate in this moment now or you encounter in the future, near future, or connect some dots from your past to current, that these synchronicities are here for you to heal, to integrate, to empower yourself, to know that you're supported and loved and not alone. Okay, so today's information coming through, guidance coming through, it begins really with, I'll open with these two quotes that I have for you guys, and you can kind of get a feel for where this is going to some extent. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. Coach Carter. But this is also part of a quote by Marianne Williamson, which I'll continue with her, more of her poem here. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. Profound and intense. And there's a couple of readings that I did for the collective talking about a similar thing, your own unique resonance. Letting yourself really just feel empowered in that, and how that it's kind of like source universe allowing the orchestra, the symphony that we are, with you owning that truth, that unique resonance that is you, and being present in it. It allows for the rest of the symphony and the orchestra to begin falling into harmony and tune and balance, because you're not hiding in your shadow from your light. To be seen is to be intense. It requires you to feel very secure in yourself, in whatever aspect that may be, but you add it as your personal energetic resonance. There's a whole new layer of confidence that you have to own authentically outside of anyone else's perception of you to bring to the table. And that is very intimidating, especially if you're finding that's your own path. However, you're here right now and you're hearing this. How many other people are watching this? How many other people are owning that they watch this, are liking it, are commenting? You're not alone. And the more that you see other people able to own their authentic truth outside of others' perception of them, it doesn't change who you are, what someone else thinks of you. how they perceive you is a part of their path. It's not actually a reflection of you. It is a reflection of their own interaction with their divine, their source, and them. You may be a resonance that can help them heal through being either glimmered, having glimmered moments, or trigger moments where they are remembering a really happy moment in their life because you remind them of it. A glimmer moment. Or a trigger moment where they realize, oh, I didn't realize that I feel insecure in this. Oh, well, what am I going to do about that? Because I don't like that. I don't want to feel like that. And that's where you're owning your presence. You're authentic. Like, this is me and I'm good with me outside of anybody else's opinion or their own resonance. I'm still me. The power that has, and the chain of, like, the domino effect. There we go. The domino effect from that outward. Because every time you do that, they're able to know more of who they are. And then the people around them are able to know more who they are because that person knows more who they are. Oh my gosh, it's just, it's a never ending process. So truly, you being able to own this aspect of you, while it's not an easy path, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. And you have so many glimmer moments ahead of you because you may not necessarily see yourself through this lens, through these words. So a more grounded, down-to-earth way of doing this or expressing this would be, imagine you start a new job and you're part of the behind the scenes. And they're kind of stuck in an old way of doing things where the way that they track what comes in and what goes out in this job, this hypothetical business, is just by writing things down on a piece of paper, like scratch, like a post-it. That's how they're keeping track. And your job is to manage all of that. So what is the first thing you're probably going to do? You're probably going to create a more organized tracking system. And you may not go directly into like a spreadsheet software tracking system. You may create templates for these things to be tracked and signatures for, hey, they received X, Y, or Z. And when that happened, we collected X, Y, or Z from them. Signature, date, time, way of tracking. It's like, I'm hearing it's like a chain of evidence almost, like you can hold people accountable for what they were in possession of at what time. A way of, holding people accountable. And then you finally get everybody really comfortable with this adjustment because you have people, coworkers, individuals that have been there for some time and they're pretty set in their ways and they don't want things to change. People don't like change. Maybe something that you need them to do is just, one more thing on top of what they're already doing and they're not necessarily thrilled with that. But then you begin to incorporate it into a software system. Well, now they have to learn how to use that software. So you're getting pushback while you're actually optimizing and making the system more efficient and holding everyone accountable for the inflow and the outflow of whatever business this may be. But you stay balanced because you're able to understand where they're emotionally coming from, allowing them to be heard. And when that happens, and you affirm like, hey, I understand that this is where you're coming from. However, this is my goal. This is where, where we're going with this. You're going to have less on your plate to do. So I'm not wanting to overwhelm. I'm actually wanting to take a lot of the stress off of you. So you're able to speak both the logic and the intuitive emotional language. And then eventually you find yourself in a position where you've basically optimized this so much that they have to either create a whole new position for you, or you've basically worked yourself right out of the position and automated it. You've you've organized the chaos so well that you don't need to focus directly on it anymore. You can now move on to the next project, the next level of, okay, this is some chaos that could do with some organizing. Bringing order to chaos. So that's like a very grounded up into, okay, well, how do I do this with my thoughts? As you begin to practice mindfulness, it's challenging, especially when you first start, because you're like, wow, that thought, oh my gosh, or this thought or that thought. I just had a brownout. Ooh. Synchronicity? Oh. But you're able to continue to do this process. So wherever you are, with your light, with your unique aspect of you, there's no one else in the world like you. No one else can be you like you. No one else has the perspective that you do. No one else would be able to, with all the information you have, including like the soul deep resonance that is you, unique. You're able to handle whatever this is that's currently going on in your world, in your life, in your internal experience with that mindfulness, being aware of the thoughts, the emotions, the interaction between them, and choosing to adjust consciously. I don't want to have this thought anymore. You keep saying that to yourself. You keep expressing that to yourself. You keep acting that out, however it may be. Eventually your brain, your mind will, because it is a tool, it's a physical tool, it will move for you. You will create new ways of thinking that you're like on board with. Creating order in the chaos. So your unique light, your unique presence, you have always been capable of whatever this challenge may be before you. You are this master who was incarnated into this life, into this system, into this time for a reason, because no one can do this like you. You were not incarnated into this life by accident, by chance. You have this. No one can pull it off like you. So when you have those moments where you're like, I don't know, I kind of want to retreat a little more into this darkness and kind of hide my light a little bit because I'm just not certain. I mean, ultimately, that is you owning your truth. If that's where you feel you need to be in that moment, then own that. That is, you don't need to justify it or explain it to anyone. You know your truth. And if that's where you're going, then more than likely that's where you need to be in that moment. But when it comes time for you to feel like, oh, okay, well, I think I can actually be openly different here in this space, and what anybody thinks of me or however they may have a reaction to my presence, that's their circus, their monkey. That's not my responsibility. That's their side of the road. And that is also, it's not saying like if you show up in his space and you're intentionally being disruptive and combative, even just verbally, like that is not what I'm talking about here, guys. That is intentionally being disruptive, and that's not just being present as you and your energy. Just you being there in silence and calm. That is where I'm talking about. Where you create major waves just by being there. by existing in that space. Not having to act or say or anything, just being, where your calm, your center is so loud because it's in such a contrast. That is what I am talking about. That is your light. Because that is purely you. That is not what you're saying. That's not what you're acting. It is purely you being present. And when it's time for you to embody that or own that, you'll know. And you may have moments where you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Then, you can kind of fall back on that concept, that awareness that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You're exactly who you're supposed to be at this time. You have everything you need in this moment to fully show up authentically as yourself. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be brash. You don't have to be physically emotive to hold presence. And that presence, as I said, it is loud. It is, at times, it could be so incredibly explosive on an energetic level. And that's where the power lies. And it can be intimidating, especially if you have observed anyone in this energy where, how do I want to put this? There's two different examples that I can give you. One is more of a masculine and one is more of a feminine. And that is receptive versus assertive. It does not have to be about gender. It is about the archetype of it. It's not about the gender. So the masculine is like, I can and will and am completely capable of diffusing whatever chaos is going on in my environment and diffusing it completely, restraining it completely to make everyone, including the individual that I'm restraining, safe. But I'm not going to do that unless I feel it's absolutely necessary. But there is that sense in their body that they're prepared, they're ready, they're capable. You don't have to observe them do it to know that they have the confidence that should it escalate to that they can make everyone safe by diffusing the situation. And that readiness, there is a calmness to it because they're in control of themselves. It's not an anticipation like, yes, I'm looking forward to this. It's like, if I must, I will. It's that says that it's just in their body language, it's in their energy, it's in the words they use, the inflection, the tone. And I'm trying to paint this picture for you. And this person could be a man or a woman. When you understand as an individual how to restrain someone in a way that protects them but does not allow them to, really harm anyone or act in a way that would be aggressive towards someone else in the environment, but you are also protecting them from themselves. You're completely diffusing it. That knowledge of how to do so is a very protective energy. And to see that embodied in someone's stance, their voice, their words, the readiness in their tension, their energy, their body language, all of it, you can walk into a room and know instantly a little, like you could, it's like restrained force. Like the language is literally an obstacle here right now. I hope you guys are with me on this. Like, you're following this. maybe have observed it or seen it in your own life, and that person made you feel safe because they were in control of their own state. Now, the feminine side of this was more of a reflecting. So it's being receptive to what the individual or the dynamic is saying and expressing, and even though it's emotive and it's intense, it's being open to actually understanding and hearing the other person. And then, when they have calmed, when they have paused, like they're done speaking for a moment, the baton has passed to you, excuse me, and you're in this receptive state, you are calm, you are introspective, you are doing what you can to understand what they're trying to express, because you're aware that language is limiting. You're having to read between the lines, between what they say, how they say it, the emotion that they're very clearly struggling with, containing, and trying to express in their body language, and then the energetic presence of it. All of it combined, and then the energetic presence. You're attentive, you're listening, but you're quiet. You're present. You're there. And because this individual can tell that you're actually listening, there's an opening for them to heal. Finally, someone is hearing me, right? And this person that is in this receptive state, I'm going to paint this person as you, just for the sake of flow here. You are just fully trying to understand them. And you can tell the shift in them when they begin to realize that you are hearing them, that you do care enough to understand, but you're not acting, you're not speaking, you're not interrupting, you are fully trying to understand. And when they pause, you take a moment. You let that sit in the air for a moment. Maybe you count to like 2 or something, maybe 6. Either way, then you begin to go, okay, I want to fully understand. From trying to understand your perspective, and you begin to ask a question to clarify. And then they can answer that. And then they feel like they're more heard. They're being understood. And then you wait for that pause again. The power of being present with someone in that state, it's life-changing for some individuals. It's so powerful. Both sides. And it's not about gender. It is not about gender. And you can embody both. The power of being fully present in a moment with anyone, in any situation. You don't, you're light, that balance, not retreating into the dark, because you could so easily do it if you yourself were not really feeling like you were where you were ready to be able to be that. If you felt that you had some things yet to heal, you would retreat back into that darkness and heal it, listen to it, understand it. But if you have done that work, your energetic presence, however quiet and calm and collected you may be, is loud. Energetically, it is felt. And I'd say probably the biggest piece is you're there, you're observing, you're witnessing, you're facilitating them being able to communicate with their own spiritual self in a verbal expression, in a outward fashion that is observed by more facets of source, of divine. It's like an incredible cry for help, to be heard so completely. To help them be able to get to a point where they're able to be that for someone else. Partially because they're observing that it's possible because you're doing it for them. They know that it's possible. Not, and the biggest part that allows you to really do this, be this, is because you've done that work. There are boundaries. You know that this is not your circus, not your monkeys. And you may need to say that, or they may need to express that to you. I'm not looking for you to solve this. What I need is for you to hear me, to be heard. Because whether they realize it or not, what they're doing is sending out a very, I don't want to say like an SOS and like what it literally means, but it is a cry for help to Source, to the divine, to be heard, because there's more of an observation. It's not just an internal, you're involving another facet and another facet and another facet of Source. And that's what it is to share your light, is to show that it's possible to be that and to not have it erode you because you have that boundary. You're surrendering it to Source as it's happening. Even when you're diffusing a situation, you're allowing the divine Source, because you're there, you're aware, you're healed, you're capable, you're in control, you're present. The divine has placed you there for a reason. You have all that knowledge of you for a reason. This is not by accident. Because you can then diffuse the whole thing. I mean, what would happen if there was not that individual there in that moment to diffuse that and to make everyone safer? Because they were in control of themselves. What would have happened if they weren't there? If they didn't have that self-assurance? What would happen if someone was just so overwhelmed and, regardless of their own relationship with the divine Source, the universe, whatever you feel the most comfortable identifying that unique relationship as, like, they may not have one in that moment. They're reaching for something beyond themselves. Through connection, they are acknowledging that separation is an illusion, and illusions create suffering. Unity, truth, love, connection creates harmony, balance. We learn from one another because we are all aspects of Source. No one person is going to be the answer. No one teacher will have everything you need. Everyone that you encounter every day has something to teach you about yourself, and they have some learning to do because of your presence. Maybe they're having a bad day and you're just like, that's okay. I'm not going to add to it. I think you're great anyway. I'm grateful you're here. Thank you. That could be something that could be a healing moment for them, because you see beyond what they're struggling with to the heart of who they are. It's just someone trying to show up for other people, and they're a little overwhelmed. It doesn't make them less than. It makes them human. So, wherever you are in this path, wherever you can be, know that you're not alone in this. There are many other people going through this, have gone through this, and have achieved this state of being. And if you have witnessed this in your life, you're definitely capable of this. And you're here because you know that, and you want to have that presence in yourself. And you're working for it. You're doing the work, which means whatever you do gain, it is yours. No one can take that from you. They could try. And I'll giggle because if they haven't done the work, they can't actually hold it anyway. It belongs to you. And I don't know why, but I'm being called to just read this one more time because the words are so powerful. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. Coach Carter. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. This whole reading is inspired by Marianne Williamson's poem. It's so profound. There's so much wisdom reading in between those lines, in between those words. This transcends time. This can speak to a human being 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years in the future. And with that, I'm going to bring this channeled reading and teaching to a close. The divine, the love within me, sees and honors the divine, the love within you. Namaste.